Question 16. In the figure below, the ratio of the area of the square to the area of the rectangle is 2 to 5. Let's note this information down at the side, where the area of the square is 2 units and the area of the rectangle is 5 units. The ratio of the area of the unshaded part of the square to the unshaded part of the rectangle is 1 to 3. Now let's bring our focus back to the diagram in the question. We see that other than a grey square and a blue rectangle, there is a shaded part in the middle. How can we help ourselves to make this problem sound easier for us? We can label the different parts in the question to help us. And I've chosen to use the letter X for the unshaded part of the square, Y for the shaded part of the figure, and Z for the unshaded part of the rectangle. To help us further, we can note down under the area of square that it is made up of X and Y. So under the area of rectangle, what would you note down? If you answer Y plus Z, you are on the right track. Referring back to the sentence that we have just read, let's put down this information into the diagram. The ratio 1 to 3 in the second sentence of the question, with 1 referring to X, also known as the unshaded part of the square, and 3 referring to Z, also known as the unshaded part of the rectangle. But are we going to call these numbers as units? We are not going to do that, since units has been used in the first sentence for our grey square and our blue rectangle. So the ratio 1 to 3 simply only refers to the unshaded parts that are equivalent, and it has no relationship to the square nor the rectangle, yet. Until we can find the relationship, let's call this number 1 as 1 US, US being unshaded. We can definitely use other symbols or letters to represent, and I will leave this entirely up to you. So what shall we call the unshaded part of the rectangle then? Bingo! We shall call it 3 US. We have noted 1 US under the letter X and 3 US under the letter Z in our working. Moving on, given that the length of the square is 6 cm, this is a really useful information. Recall the properties of a square. The length and the breadth of the sides of a square are the same, which naturally leads us to finding the area of the square, and that is 6 multiplied by 6, giving us the answer 36 cm square. Can we find the area of the rectangle? Sure, but how? Remember that we have noted 2 units for the area of the square. And since the area of the square is 36 cm square, 2 units will equate to 36 cm square. Always remember to find 1 unit, which will give us 18. Going back to our blue rectangle, we need to find 5 units. And we will arrive at the area of the blue rectangle being 90 cm square. So what is the question asking for? It is asking us to find the area of the shaded part. And the shaded part to us is now known as letter Y. Letter Y seems to repeat itself in both the area of the rectangle and the area of the square. Let's use a model to help us see the information better. For the squares model, I need 2 boxes, which we will label as Y in one box and 1 US, which is the area of X in the other box. We must also label the total area of the square, and this is 36 cm square on the model. Let's do the same for the rectangles model. If you like, you can pause this video and attempt to draw the model on your own. Are you ready for the answer? For the rectangles model, we also have letter Y, and I've purposely drawn Y first, since the Y in the rectangle is the same Y as the one in the square. We will continue with drawing 3 smaller boxes, representing 3 US, which is also the area of Z. Lastly, we need to note down that the total area of the rectangle is 90 cm square. What can you see in this drawn model? I see that there is clearly a difference of 2 US, as noted by the yellow lines, And this 2US is also the difference between the area of the rectangle and the area of the square, giving us a difference of 54 cm square. To find 1 US, we just need to take 54 divided by 2, and we will have 27 cm square. To get our full 4 marks, we must answer the question. The question is asking for area of the shaded part. To find the shaded part, simply take the area of the square minus the area of the unshaded part of the square, which is 36 cm square minus away 27 cm square. We will arrive at the answer of 9 cm square.